Hey everybody, this is the Post Movie Podcast. I'm Steve Head.
I'm John Black.
And we're happy to have again with us Brett Michelle, film critic with the Boston Herald and the Boston Phoenix. How you doing, Brett?
Oh, man.
For this episode, this is mostly about Super 8. And I should also say, right off the bat, we were recording this at Panera Bread across the street from the Coolidge Theater. So the, I don't know what kind of cappuccino machine is happening in the background right now.
I don't want people to think I've sprung a leak and slowly bleeding out here on the air. Maybe they're making a large, I guess.
Or a nice ice blended drink.
That'd be good too.
It's reverberous, so this could happen.
That's not a word, is it? Say that. What is that again?
Reverberous. It's echoing through the entire.
It's got It's got reverberosity. Mm-hmm. He's the reverberator. I can go on all day.
Last week we had to deal with what? Crying baby.
Well,
which I edited around. which I think I did a good job of editing around. Boy, man, that as far as like live recording annoyances go, oh man. This is mostly Super 8, but we also might talk about The Tree of Life, the Terrence Malick film, which is actually a very long conversation. I haven't seen the film, but
it won't be a long conversation as far as
I saw the movie, I guess, 1.5 times.
I can sum it up in 2 words. It sucked.
I'd be grateful that you guys would sum it up and not do a long conversation.
In it.
It did.
I like that.
It did, and it's very. What's a good description?
It's just there's been so much online talk about the movie. It's been driving me up the frigging wall.
Well, turn off the computer. Don't go to those sites.
Yeah.
You were saying you saw it 1.5 times. I'm assuming because of. Did you walk out on the first screening?
I walked out because the presentation at the theater was so terrible that I just couldn't take it anymore. I didn't want that to be my viewing experience.
That was the whole thing.
You weren't there when the Coast Guards came up?
That's when I left.
Oh, okay.
It was already bad enough.
We should explain. So during the press screening, in the middle of the screening, the AMC Boston Common, Lowe's Boston Common, whichever, started showing the PageMaker slides, that, advertisements that they show at the beginning of a regularly scheduled film, started to appear in the middle of.
And then previews for the Simon Cowell show.
The X Factor.
Yeah.
Really? With audio?
No, just the images. So you had like Brad Pitt arguing with his family, and then superimposed over the X Factor.
So you're just pointing out the thing that made me finally. That was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Is that what caused?
Was it the tinny sound?
Well, there was the tinny center sound channel where yes, everyone sounded like they were speaking through a tin can.
Oh my God, that totally takes you out of the film.
But there was also the polarizing filter in front of the lens the entire film, which was just making every image ghost like mad.
So now it's playing at Kendall and Coolidge, where they'll have their shit together.
So is this what inspired Ty to finally write that article?
No, I think he's been working on that for a while.
Yeah. So we are mostly about Super 8.
Right.
But Sean, what'd you think?
I thought it was okay.
Just okay?
Yeah.
Wasn't it a life-changing nostalgia trip?
God, no. Although I was alive in that time period, it was. I liked some things about it. I didn't. My favorite part, I was telling you before, was Elle Fanning. I thought she gave a great performance, and there are 3 scenes, in particular.
Say the Fanny?
Elle Fanning. Elle Fanning, the Fanning.
Missed somewhere.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. Brett?
Well, despite seeing it once again with polarized 3D lenses,
both screenings,
projecting the image. Well, both when screenings? I saw, no, I went and saw it a second time, just like I did with Tree of Life, to see it projected correctly.
So did Fenway, in your opinion, project it correctly?
Yes, it did.
Okay,
it did. As far as digital projection goes,
yeah. Given
the choice, I would see it on 35, especially a movie that's trying to emulate, everything about the 70s, or specifically the 70s, well, really even more into the 80s output of Steven Spielberg. You kind of want to nail that look. So even J.J. Abrams, he loves that lens flare. I don't know how that really...
a very, very lingering lens flare situation, especially in that...
He fell in love with it in Star Trek, and he hasn't looked back.
I think it's a cool effect.
It does. It doesn't scream 70s.
No.
But a lot of the stuff in that movie didn't really scream.
Here's an essay topic for you: history of the lens flare. When did it become?
This is an
When did it
artificial
become
lens
acceptable?
flare, though.
Wasn't it Easy Rider?
Yeah, Easy Rider was really the
This
first
is a very
Not much of an essay.
breakout use of the lens
Not much
flare.
of an essay.
horizontal bloom, which you don't often see. It's something that you would get if you're shooting a movie with an anamorphic lens, but really they're simulating it. And he does this effect a lot by shining little pen lights into the.
What a great name for a stripper, Horizontal Bloom.
You know, it's. I think it's.
I thought.
That's very, very good, John. Very good.
I stopped listening. I was like, anyway, so Steve, give us the lowdown. What Super 8's all about?
This. It takes place in 79, 80. Although I think I had a couple of moments where I was like, wait a second, wasn't this song from the early 80s, not 79? So anyway, I think it's 79.
Hey, wouldn't these kids be super into Star Wars?
You know, there we go,
released
Star
by a
Wars.
different studio?
I'll get into that in a bit. But
Hey, wouldn't these model kits that
but
this kid is
I
painting
really-
be the Universal monsters and not these sort of random Mummy and Dracula?
In the
And,
public domain.
oh, wait.
I really enjoyed the set dressing. That's a whole subject, and it very much reminded me of my room growing up. Not too much unlike my room right now. Okay.
Not too much.
No,
Where would a kid in 1979
But,
get posters for Halloween and Dawn of the Dead?
You know, I wondered that too. There were a couple of Star Wars posters,
mention
smaller
the fact that-
posters in there that I thought, wait a second, I've really never seen those before.
These kids would have
But,
never seen
they were
these
mostly right
zombie
on.
movies.
They,
Why are they so
the
god-awful
Aurora
making
model
the
kits,
zombies?
the Star Wars model kits, they even had. So this was 79, which means they had at that time come out with the third or fourth version release of the Star Wars cards, which were the yellow, the green, orange, which she had pasted on as well. So I thought that was kind
Man,
of cool.
you guys-
I dig
These
it.
kids are movie crazy, right? At least the kid directing it. Fiction movie, because, again, it's the era of Star Wars.
All right, how old were you in 79?
9.
You know, I was 13, 14.
I was 20.
Something like that. It was very much in my vein. I mean,
right,
talk about like the
I was
idyllic.
with parents.
I'm trying to Steve back on track. So what else is
what is the movie about?
Lillian, Ohio, 1979. A group of kids, I think it's 5 kids. They
Five types.
Ohio looked a lot like Virginia, though.
anywhere USA, I suppose.
Well, supposedly Ohio.
But I think the Spielbergian part here is the fact that it's a very close small town community with good side of town, wrong side of town.
It's not tract housing.
Not tract housing, but everybody lives pretty close to each other, and it provides some terrific establishing shots. Sort of like there's a couple shots from E.T. that are mimicked. There's a couple shots from it has a poltergeist type feel to it.
That's the whole thing, though. It's like all the stuff is mimicked. You got a filmmaker like let's look at Matt Reeves.
There really isn't. I'll
Matt
just say
Reeves
quickly,
is a
not much.
protege of J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
He directed Cloverfield, but he directed last year Let Me In. Mm-hmm. You watch a film like Let Me In, which is not an homage to the films of Spielberg, but it's got the stamp of Spielberg all over it, because this guy's really absorbed the filmmaking techniques of a Spielberg without being showy or self-conscious about it. But this movie, it's completely self-conscious, and it overwhelms the whole picture.
Yeah, it does, and it doesn't do so in such a way that it actually makes it better, because it's really neat, but I can't say there's a whole lot original here. But let me get back to the
what's it about?
To the setup. So one of the kids is a aspiring film director, and he wants to make a movie that he can submit to this festival, and so he's coerced his friends into participating in this film called The Case.
Yeah.
Right? And so they decide
That's a terrifying name for a zombie film, by the way.
Yeah, it's a zombie film. There's some amusing
Case.
clips that they show from it. So they decide that late one night they're going to go film this scene out by a train station on the edge of town. And in the process of filming this scene, the camera is set up, and they are witness to a spectacular train crash. I mean, it's pretty amazing as far as train
Spectacular
crashes
for the 70s, I'd say.
Yeah, as movie train crashes go, it's one of the best I've seen.
Yeah, but how long does it last?
Too long.
I mean,
a little too long.
It's
a train derails.
cool by me, you know.
It goes off the tracks. I suppose you might have some stuff explode. Probably not, but anyway.
After this moment, you know the camera is still knocked over, but you're led to wonder: did they capture something? Did they capture something that happened during this crash? So. The next day, strange stuff starts to happen. The dogs have run away. People start missing. The town starts getting worried. The main star here, Joe, played by Joel Courtney. I don't think he's ever done anything before, but...
He looks like the lead singer from Wilco.
He's like a miniature Jeff Tweedy.
Well, I kept thinking, I was like, he should do the tweet. He should do the Wilco story.
Yankee Whiskey Foxtrot. Yeah, he does. So he's Kyle Chandler plays his dad, who in a Amity kind of sense is the deputy chief of police, or he's the deputy, and the chief goes missing after a incident at the gas station, and so Kyle Chandler.
We're going to need to come back to that, by the way.
Yeah, so Kyle Chandler is now thrust into the Roy Scheider-like role of, the town's going nuts. He's got to hold everything together. Strange stuff is going on the other side of the hill with the government coming in and doing all this kind of secretive stuff.
All right, so we're making a Jaws analogy now, clearly.
Oh, there's many.
Oh, there's many.
Close Encounters analogy.
The better, sort of Jaws-like movie in recent years was really The Host.
Well, I wouldn't have immediately drawn that conclusion, but...
Well, if you're going to do like a giant creature type thing and actually try and juggle multiple genres within one film, I think the director of that will be The Host.
Well, here, that I will say is...
better director
Right.
than this great at this point.
You spend a large amount of time in this movie wondering what this creature is like, and unlike Jurassic Park and some of Spielberg's other films, where he's revealed the creature, here they're really secretive about it. You don't get to see anything real until like maybe after an hour in, and
yeah, but when you do,
it's
still know much about it, or
no? I'm gonna quickly say that
like a very quick bite during one scene.
There's a lot about this movie that is fun and imaginative, but the creature not imaginative. Already did it in Cloverfield. It's like been there, done that. How many times have we seen something like this? So it gets, I'm not really excited with the last quarter of the film.
I saw Tarantula on Turner Classic Movies.
I watched it last night too.
And boy, wasn't that this damn actual tarantula that they superimposed?
I love that.
Creepy.
I mean, it was much better.
Creepy from the mid-'50s. But there's so much about this movie that I love, and even though they were so specifically paying homage in style and in many other overt ways to like E.T. and Close Encounters
Yeah,
and
I just don't even think he nailed the style.
Battery's not included in a way.
Yeah, well, that's a good one to compare it to, because that's a movie that didn't quite work.
They have this. There's an element in this. What happens after this train crash is there's a car that contains these like white Rubik's cube type things, and they have this. They've just spilled out onto the countryside, but they have this strange like way of coagulating and gathering. And I guess that's what the creature is trying to manipulate, is to get these things like together. And anyway, long story short, the reason this whole train was going where it was is because they were closing down a certain part of Area 51, and they were transferring all of the contents of this particular.
How do you know that? Because I've seen the movie twice and I didn't.
As production notes.
Okay, because I didn't get that from the movie.
Yeah, no, it's not in the movie. They've shut down a part of Area 51, and all contents in this particular part of the base are being moved. That's why it's being moved. So it's not spelled out in the movie, but
because they don't even specifically name check Area 51 either.
No, they don't. They don't.
I had to go on faith.
I mean, you watch this movie, you're still left to wonder what's the to and fro with the train. You know what I mean? It's like
exactly.
But okay, but the fun part about this. Oh, go ahead.
And given that it's the Air Force that's running the show, why are they taking it by train? Why not by plane?
Yeah,
that would be easy.
So the fun part about
where are they
is the kids. The kids are great. The way that the kids interact with each other, which was how J.J. Abrams had spent so much time in casting, trying to get the kids to just be kids. and like rambunctious and excited, and I think it's been a long time since we've seen a movie, quite a few years where the kids as a group have been like having them just like in a way a maniacally good time, but they're also the protagonists.
Judy Moody.
Yeah, well,
not Judy Moody.
In a sense that this is a big film.
They were having a good time.
One of the Spielberg elements is that he likes to make you feel like you're just a peon in the universe. Like everything else is large and huge and amazing and fantastic, and all this fantastic stuff is going on around you. And with the group of kids here, they're so good at reacting to all this stuff. Like everything is new and special. So it's like a coming of age film. But the way the kids interact with each other,
the film actually worked.
Yeah, and their characters, you just have a lot of fun with it. It's like Elliot and his friends in E.T. It makes it fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I wouldn't go so far as to. It doesn't work as well as that.
The kid who plays the director, very funny. I got the great kid. The kid who plays the pyromaniac.
I just had a feeling that they were more.
They still felt like chess pieces being moved around.
Yeah. There wasn't the only one. Again, the only one I thought that had any originality besides the Jeff Tweedy kid was Elle Fanning.
Right.
Fanning, and she has those 3 great scenes. The one where she actually acts in their movie.
Yeah, it's like a transcendent moment.
The one where she becomes a zombie. And then the one where she breaks down and tells Joe about, when they're watching the movie of his mom and she breaks down. And I thought those were 3 great scenes. And that showed me that, yes, one of these kids is a real actor. The others seem to be...
Right, and she's the one with experience.
Yeah, the others were kind of like characters there to say these funny lines of dialogue and to do these things on. But I never got I always had a sense they could be interchangeable. You could get any chubby kid to be the director, any goofy kid to be the pyromaniac.
I suppose, but there's still real talent there. I mean, that kid's good in this part.
Jeff Tweedy?
No, the kid who plays the director, Riley Griffiths.
I didn't feel anything was there really.
Charles.
And the only 2 I thought that was more than just kind of like a well-directed and animated cutout was Joe and
the Pyro Kid, Carrie.
No, Elle Fanning. What's her name?
Elle Fanning.
Alice. So
Alice.
I thought Joe and Alice were the only ones that had any kind of even second dimension, let alone 3 dimension to them. The others just seemed to be there to say the funny line, do the funny reaction.
But okay, jumping forward, there's a scene where there's this confrontation between I guess this alien creature who is nameless or whatever, it's just alien creature, whatever it is, and the guy who plays the sergeant. I'm trying to remember his name.
Sheriff?
No.
The Air Force guy?
The Air Force guy who was in the Truman Show. Crap, I can't remember.
That face.
Noah Emmerich. They have basically, it's like the showdown on the bus, and they're, the bus is tipped over, the aliens tipped it over, it's trying to bust its way through the side. It's like Jurassic Park in a way, with the kids in the back of the car and then a couple of the military guys in front, and they have the showdown. I mean, that was really cool.
That alien creature is just misunderstood. He just wants to get home.
Right.
And if he has to brutally murder a few people along the way,
and he has to eat.
And he is hungry.
Is this just coincidental?
Won't cut it.
They're transferring this thing via train to some location, right? They're going through this town in Ohio that happens to be the town where there is a science teacher who has studied everything about this character. It's a science teacher who used to work at the facility in Area 51.
Air Force.
Right. So he's involved in the So he's so it just like of all the places you're going to be traveling the train through, it happens to be the high school teacher's hometown that knows everything about the alien.
And about the fact planning this.
He's like the number one
miraculous train derailment that he could never pull off with a truck for a long time.
Yeah, so he's the number one whistleblower here.
Sure.
So of all the places you're going to take this damn thing through, you're going to do it.
Well, because he has a psychic bond with our alien arachnid buddy.
Yeah, the psychic bond is created by touch. So the kids, they learn that their teacher has all this footage.
Do you remember the psychic bond Elliot had with E.T.?
Yeah, that's basically what's going
Do
on.
you remember how
Yeah,
they
touch.
really demonstrated it, and you really got to feel how it works? And
Yeah, E.T. could feel everything.
they showed it to you. Well, they tell you,
Right.
but you never actually see it and feel it. It's that same old thing. It's like, hey, we get this budget to make a movie, but we're not going to show you anything. We're not even going to show you the creature. Really.
He's like the alien whisperer.
We're just gonna.
He knows
gonna
exactly
tell
how to
you.
make the alien feel good and do the right
That
stuff.
makes it an exciting movie when they tell you stuff instead of showing you.
It's just easier on people. You know that.
It's easier on the budget too.
Yeah.
So this is basically an alien that's trying to build a ship, and he's trying to get back home. You know, just like E.T. So he's using all this magnetic
that.
energy or something to draw these Rubik's cubes things back to so they can reform into his ship or something. And
Like I said, it was fun. I liked some of it. You know, it's summertime.
It's a bit of a problem though when your movie within a movie, which they show you the Super 8 little epic
the
before
case.
the end credits, is better than the movie you just.
that was very amusing. That was very amusing. And also, out of all the stuff that when the kids break into the high school and they find just a stash of films and files and
How
everything,
do they find that
how do
so
they
easily?
specifically find the one film that's basically the documentary, the whole history?
Oh, they not only find that, but they also simultaneously are playing an audio recording that's explaining
The matches.
yeah, just from the tape.
And this
they
is,
happened
this
to
is the
find. Maybe they
exact
were in there
stuff
for
that
hours
the
before we
military's
saw that. I
been
don't
looking
know.
for days at this point. They didn't think to look at this, the place where this guy works. But I had the same issue. The military, they find these Super 8 film cartridge containers at the crash site. Miraculously, it's like this is a massive crash site, and they're able to just stumble across these little boxes that Alice's father's
That can fly around
Alice's
and
father's
form into
car
something.
is completely unscathed during this crash, and they're able to drive. There's no debris, so they can drive the hell out of there fast in this car that's completely undamaged. But anyway, the military, they find these film containers or empty packages, and they need to try and figure out, who was shooting footage here, and they start taking tire indentations and
So they track it back to.
Never once do they think, hey, why don't we just go to the lone photo developing place in town that the kids take the film to?
Yeah.
And
Where they can obviously get film developed and buy weed.
yes,
Right. So they get their 5 minutes of Super 8 film developed, and they watch it back, and there's a moment where they've spoiler, they've captured a shot of this thing escaping from the
I don't think
boxcar.
that's a spoiler. It's called Super 8, and kind of know what's going on. Yeah. But to me, it was cotton candy. It's not very
It
nutritious.
is fun. I would totally recommend it. I think it's a fun movie to take a group of family to see.
I wouldn't go back. There's no reason to go back.
I'll see
Yeah,
it
but if you're
again.
going to take a family, why was there the F-bomb in the movie?
Yeah, there's
right?
one.
There's one, but,
Yeah.
if you're trying to appeal to...
There's no reason for it when it
get it.
happens either.
I get it, they do the same thing in the new X-Men picture, too, and it's funny, but that scene doesn't really make a lot of sense. You guys have probably talked about it.
It's an opportunity taken, I suppose.
Well,
Said
it
he
gives you your
created.
PG-13 rating, which when you're trying to get teens into the theater and they see that PG-13 up on the board, that movie must be
Instead of
saucy.
PG, if it's
Yeah.
saucy.
I really want to say I like Kyle Chandler as the dad, as the deputy. The backstory here, or the subplot here, whichever, is that he is, I guess, within the past 3 months or so, lost his wife, and so he's dealing with trying to raise a family or keep things together, and then all the strange stuff that happens in the town. And I dig Kyle Chandler. He's a good everyman. I dig him on Friday Night Lights. He's
That's where I saw him before. I've never seen the show, but I've seen him on the poster.
yeah, he's good. He's I think everybody's really well cast in this film, and I think
Ron
it's
Elder.
a terrific camaraderie.
Whatever happened to him? What was he in before?
ER.
Yeah.
He's done bit parts here and there. He had a Fox TV series that the
He
pilot
was a
was...
blind. Was
Oh,
he a
well,
blind
he's
detective or something?
Elle Fanning's dad, and I don't quite get the backstory there. What was his thing, like, how was he related to, Kyle Chandler and his family?
Well,
What was the deal there?
he worked at the steel mill. Yeah, and then he called in
Oh,
sick.
that's right.
The
That's
day
right.
that
He factored in
had,
his wife.
had a
he'd been
steel
drinking.
beam squashed Joe's mom.
Yeah, the opening shot of the film is the
Yeah, taking down the...
sign in the steel
Yeah.
mill thing, days since last accident.
What?
And it's being switched to
So
one
he's been kind of half drunk since then, and very,
I think even before then, that was the
Yeah.
problem.
yeah.
Because his wife had left, and there's a whole lot of backstory with these people.
Just never really developed.
So she's been Elle Fanning's
Again,
character.
it's told to you.
Yeah.
She's basically hanging out with these with the guys making the film because she thought it would be fun, but basically she's also got to get out of the house. You know, this is how in a way it's contrived that they're together. And the other thing
She's
is
an older
that,
girl, too.
but and in reality she's not. The other kids are like 2 or 3 years older than she is. She's like 12, and the kids are like 14, 15. The other subplot is that Joe is into her.
But this isn't reality penis porn. That's my ET reference right there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a a couple of the kids like her, so there's a little bit of a battle going on there or something. But
How heavy...
I can't
now,
wait to see. I'm eager to see the movie again.
Spielberg's the producer.
Yes.
How heavy-handed, how hands-on a producer do you think he was? Like on the set every day,
That's-
telling Abrams what to do?
Well, hey, how about this
producer,
one?
or-
Well, I don't think he could be. He's been making the Tintin film. You know, he's got other stuff going on, right?
Yeah, but...
So-
Spielberg was the one who suggested to Abrams, who had these two separate ideas. He had this, coming of age story with these kids making a Super 8 film, and it didn't really have any plot beyond that, but I think that's the stuff that really works in this movie. And then he had this other story idea, which was this
the alien thing falls flat.
train derailment, and it was Spielberg who said to JJ, "Hey, why don't you combine these two?"
You know, when the movie gets to the point where they find this giant hole in the garage and the aliens are taking people and hanging them up like the alien from Aliens, using them for whatever energy. It's just lame and unimaginative. And like I said, they've already used this kind of creature in Cloverfield.
My take on what was happening there, and again, you have to really kind of come up with your own explanation because the film doesn't give it to you, is I think each of these people, the town sheriff, the woman with the rollers in her hair, these are people who had been reported missing. There's very few people reported missing, but the ones who had are ones who happened to see this creature.
Yeah.
And I tend to think people wanted to tuck them away and be, kind of nice to them by letting all the blood drain into their head and get all groggy. Keep them alive, and then once he's gone,
Down in the
they'll be
surprisingly well-lit subterranean cave.
Yes, and the fact that they were able to, through the 20 or 30
They had
feet,
sparklers.
20 or 30 foot hole, all of a sudden after one edit, they're out and running around, as the military is destroying their end of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
However, it's battling back. But you make a good point about Brett, the Abrams influence and the Spielberg influence. And I was reading Kenneth Turin's earlier review in the Los Angeles Times about he said the movie has essentially two styles. There's Abrams style and then there's Spielberg style, and they come together, but they don't actually create something greater. It's just a meshing of styles that's fun. But
Spielberg is recreating a lot of his own youth on film in his early pictures, and Abrams is recreating films about Spielberg's early youth. So it's he's not recreating his own stuff per se. So you end up getting this really artificial.
It revolves within itself, but it's a neat-looking film. The special effects are terrific. The camaraderie and joking between the kids is great, and the case, the movie itself, is a kick. So, but the movie is it falls flat.
I could have released. They could have released that as a short film and called it a day.
Let's call it a day on Super 8. The other one that is opening today, at least here in Boston, is Terrence Malick's The Tree of Life, which I have not seen, but you guys...
It's been out for a week, even.
Yeah. Well, I think in New York and L.A. But would you guys,
No.
would you guys recommend it?
Boston for
No.
a week.
Oh, I thought it was just at the Coolidge.
It opened at the Kendall
it
last
was at
week.
the Kendall last week.
I would not recommend it. No, I thought it was stupid. I thought it was just overblown nonsense.
I'd recommend it.
It's for
But I
critics.
wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it to.
The average person isn't going to sit through that. And
No, they can
should
try.
they? Or should they?
They can try. I mean, hell, I walked out of it the first time.
Yeah.
Wasn't
For
it
reasons that I've gotten into already.
2.5 hours? 3 hours?
And the dinosaur part only lasted about a minute and a half.
Yeah, I'm
My
sorry
favorite
about
part.
that.
I know. Dinosaurs.
There's a
I don't know what the fuck they were doing in the movie, but they were dinosaurs.
sympathetic dinosaur.
That's true. He didn't kill the other one. He patted him on the head.
Oh, it's not a talking dinosaur.
No.
No,
Spoke to me,
no
but
Barney.
You know, and here's the thing where I say, when I say that I don't know what it was doing in the movie, I know what Malik was doing with all this stuff. I just didn't see the point beyond Malikinism.
Well, I think there's a lot of build-up, you know, with his prior work, and maybe
I didn't
maybe
like
he
his
just
most
does.
prior work.
Maybe he's one of those filmmakers that critics love to write about.
Badlands I liked,
You know?
but I didn't like Thin Red Line. I didn't like New World.
How about Days of Heaven? We'll go back to his early output because there's a big gap.
When he could tell a story?
There's a 20-year gap between these pictures.
Yeah. I think there's a great.
Well, he's not even attempting to. I mean, his interest in traditional narrative filmmaking is obviously not.
But the part of the movie that has some aspect of traditional narrative filmmaking, the part with Brad Pitt as the dad raising these kids, I thought that was well done. But if suddenly we're looking at the world form and dinosaurs and, you know, colors and people walking on the beach in the afterlife.
You get it. It's you've got
Yeah, I get it. I just didn't see
both
the
ends of the
point.
spectrum. You've got the small scale story, and you've got the
Cosmic reality.
broader scale. And
John's, you're not convinced.
No,
you're
it's-
just like,
It's not my kind of movie. That was
All right,
obvious
that's
going
fair.
in.
was it good to look at?
No, not really.
Really?
Some of the
I
images
think
are
it's-
pretty, but I
right,
think
well,
it
that's what I'm
needs.
saying.
Yeah, some of it's pretty, but I mean, but at the same time, I had no idea what the fuck I was looking at. It's a sunspot or is it a smudge on the lens? Is it a microcosm or a macrocosm? Is it? And I wasn't that interested in what I was seeing to want to know more about what the story was, what the arc was. I just didn't. It's pretty, but it's 2.5 hours. No, it's a dinosaurs.
I'm going to see it tonight or tomorrow. You've got me so excited.
Hey,
I think you'll have to
I'm-
do another show on this movie once you've seen it, Steve.
Yeah,
I want to hear this
perhaps.
conversation.
I'll step out for that one.
Perhaps. Shall we move on to picks of the week? MGM's put out a ton of these DVDs on demand, for lack of a better way to put it. I mean, it doesn't exist until you buy it on Amazon, and then you know it takes.
They make it.
Yeah, they make it for you, and then they send it to you. And so I got a 1973 film called Harry in Your Pocket. And that is not a title with a question mark. It's starring James Coburn and Michael Sarrazin. And
Harry in your pocket. Pocket must have a hole in it.
Trish Vanderveer and Walter Pidgeon. And it's about pickpockets operating in Salt Lake City in the early 70s. And
Well, they're obviously not spending money on graphic design.
Oh, and there are
no,
there are
it's
no
very,
extras.
it's
in
a
it.
very no-frills DVD.
It's one of these things you put in the DVD and it says play.
And then beneath that it says, you know,
If
fast
you hit-
forward is every 10 minutes, is chaptered every 10
There's no
minutes.
chapter.
Yeah.
It just skips forward for 10 minutes when you hit.
Oh, more
But there's-
cappuccino.
Excellent.
So anyway, Harry in Your Pocket is James Coburn plays a guy who's a ringleader of these pickpockets who are very specific about where they do their dips, their draws, so that they maximize their money, and they're able to make something like $300,000 a year, or $1,500 a day, and it's basically a story of criminal agreements. And Michael Sarrazin is this like low-level pickpocket who tries to
Wait, Michael Cera?
Sarrazin. Who
I was
Sarrazin?
going to say, how old is he in this movie? He's
I
not
think
even
he
born yet.
He just passed away a month or two ago, if I recall.
Scott Pilgrim's dead.
Yeah. No, I first really became familiar with Michael Sarrazin. He was in this movie with Barbra Streisand. It was Peter Yates' film about where she was like this. I can't remember the title. She plays they're a couple in New York trying to get by, and they keep making these deals with them.
Anyway,
For Pete's sake.
for Pete's sake.
Yeah, and
I know how
just
Pete
things
is.
just keep getting worse.
Ah.
But he's like a nice like Carl Chandler. He's like the everyman of the early 70s. I mean, he's a nice guy. Anyway, so he plays this low-level pickpocket who tries to steal Trish Vanderveer's purse. Doesn't succeed. They are introduced to their activities are brought to the attention of James Coburn and Walter Pidgeon, who plays like this old-time pickpocket guy. And these guys know all the ins and outs of the business, about when to hold, when not to hold. And that's sort of the thing that I've learned in this film is like apparently you can get off from being a pickpocket. You can be accused of it, but if you're caught holding, that's what's going to bring you down. So James Coburn's character, being at the top of his game, his thing is like he can never be caught holding because their pickpocketing is like a four-pronged attack. She lifts up her skirt, shows a little leg, guy gets distracted, someone bumps him.
You got to know
James Coburn moves in for the pick, and then there's the handoff.
And no one to fold them.
Yes.
I'll do the bass. Boom, boom, boom.
That's some brilliant.
And no one to run.
Writing.
So it's about the free pickpocket. It's about the dip, being able to get into somebody's pocket, Harry in your pocket, and then the important part is about the handoff after you've made the pickpocket. So. They get involved with, the FBI's onto them, and I guess this is in the era where they've just started using video cameras to cover, sporting events and things like that. So a sting is put into effect to try to catch Harry in the process. And
is there a Dane?
Yeah, Trish Vanderveer. She saw it. I thought she was going to be a little bit, more, controlling in the end. I thought that she was really going to turn things turn things on all the guys. But it was a fun film.
Sounds like a
early 70s,
movie, like The Sting or
yeah, it's got that kind of
heist. Those con artist movies. I like
it.
It
is.
How does
It's
this
about the
compare to a
process.
film like, say, Pickpocket?
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
That French thing?
Add it to your list.
That French thing?
Yeah, it's a very nice Criterion release.
I really dig the score by Lalo Schifrin. It's got that early 70s feel. John, you would dig it, so that's my pick of the
Wouldn't
week.
be any bass and drum, would there?
Word.
Yeah, very much. So, Hair in Your Pocket is my pick of the week.
All right. I'm still exploring the wonderful world of a French documentarian named Nicolas Philibert.
Yeah.
So I've seen Nanette, Every Little Thing, and I've seen he spends a night in the Louvre City.
In the Louvre?
Louvre.
I've done that after having some bad.
Anyway, this guy does these documentaries that don't really have a specific narrative. There's no voiceover. He lets the images tell a story. And one is
Wiseman style.
That's what I was thinking.
One of it takes place in the Louvre at night when no one's there, and there's people putting up displays and going down in the vaults of the Louvre. And
Did the exhibits come to life?
no, you don't have to do that kind of crap. And this other one was it takes place in a mental institution, and he never tells you who's a patient, who's a physician, as these people rehearse to put on this absurdist play. It's just very intriguing. I love some of the imagery in his films is really strong, and I like the way it lets you make up your mind what you're seeing.
John, I'm impressed. You're really getting into all these French films.
Artsy fartsy.
Brunel and,
That's me. Less artsy, more fartsy. And my other recommendation would be AC/DC's Let There Be Rock. Which
I think I saw that.
Back when
was
Bon,
that, like in the...
Bon Scott. It's a 1979 show. Yeah, Paris, 1979. And I'm a fan of AC/DC. I like the concert itself. The interviews that are part of this documentary are pretty bad. But then the extras are all these people talking about, AC/DC music, and they're pretty interesting. And it's everyone from who's Scott, whatever his name, from Anthrax, to journalists and all these people talking about AC/DC. And the show is pretty funny. So those would be my picks.
How does it compare to Pickpocket?
Pickpocket? I liked it more.
Man, I got to say, I watched Drive Angry again this week on Blu-ray. And
Is it awesome?
I
just freaking love it, man.
Okay.
I love it.
All right.
Well,
Well, I guess that answers. No. I was just going to ask you why you would have watched it again. The keyword.
I loved it in the theater, and
You didn't like
and
it?
the Blu-ray has a neat sort of viewing experience.
No, let's agree that it's not a good movie. But did you enjoy watching it?
The first 2/3, yes. Even though Cage was kind of sleepwalking through his role once again, not quite measuring up to the all that William Fichtner was giving his role.
There's an interview with Fincher on the disc where he says he considers this his top film that he has ever made.
It's a really
his favorite.
fun performance.
Now, which one is he?
He is the accountant.
But the third half of the movie just falls apart.
I wasn't looking for anything.
You really kind of want payoff, and we can bring this back to Super 8.
Payoff where he's just casually sitting there and drinking wine out of his skull.
Imagine
it's the
imagine Super 8 if they had
the bad guy stuff.
ended the movie with these people gazing up at the sky and the music swelling and trying to basically do the end of E.T. and it's completely falling flat. And if they had just ended there, which, people started walking out at that moment because they think it's over, but it doesn't have any of the emotional power of any of that Spielberg output. But
It's
again,
just exploitative.
if you
It
had
has
not-
some amazing,
if you had not put that short
over-the-top
film in the
scenes.
case after that, which makes people leave with a great buzz, think, oh, that's terrific.
Yes. Oh, so if you're seeing Super 8, do not leave when the credits start because the movie The Case is going to start playing during the credits, and everybody who's leaving is going to be like standing.
Yeah, anyone who leaves is going to be like, what the hell did I just watch?
Yeah, they're all. Anyway, so Drive Angry, the Blu-ray has an option where you can. I don't know. It's like the Drive Angry experience where you watch it, and then the interviews come up, and then like the trivia and stuff comes up, and I got a kick out of that. They obviously had a good time making the
Watch it in
film.
3D?
Maybe I don't know if there's a 3D version of this on Blu-ray, perhaps.
Oh,
But
I hope so.
Summit financed a good one, I think.
I liked it.
Ballast for Twilight, which I know we're all looking forward to.
They're
Lord,
printing money.
I still have not. I think I've seen half of the first one, and that's it. That's all.
You didn't see
I
the
gotta-
first. You've only seen half of the first Twilight movie, and not any of the others.
Not any of the others. No. I mean, am I holding too much baggage? Am I holding too much prejudice against Twilight?
I don't know.
What is it worth it?
No,
Okay.
they get better. They get better as the series goes on, but that might be because we're used to the bullshit to begin with. So we're not expecting any more. And
I think we're good.
Yeah.
I think we're good for the week. So, hey, Brett, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
If you have any questions, we can be reached at contact@post-movie.net, and all of our shows are online at post-movie.net, and we're also on iTunes. So if you can subscribe and leave us some feedback there, we'd totally appreciate it. And we're also on Facebook, so it's always nice to be liked. So until next week, I'm Steve Ed.
I'm John Black.
So long, everyone.